afternoon, everybody. My name is and I'm Chief Executive of Lighthouse, and I'd like to welcome you to Coastal Voices. This is an extraordinary project inspired by Olympic ideals of excellence, endeavour and friendship. I'm really sorry that on this Olympic year you're having to forego the most exciting final in British tennis this afternoon. We will try and give some updates as we go along. But actually, I'm confident that this tonight will be more thrilling than Wimbledon. So today's concert is performed by people of all ages who live along the Jurassic Coast and who have, through their hard work and commitment, become extraordinary Olympian singers. And you'll see this in a minute. And our project has had three aims. To provide an opportunity for people of all ages to take part in a world-class vocal project. To explore the voice of the Jurassic Coast World Heritage Site through the commissioning of 4 new pieces of music in response to the geography of the place. And to enable people of Dorset and Devon an opportunity to be involved in the Cultural Olympiad. And we have got the Inspire mark from the Cultural Olympiad for this project, which is fantastic. Having seen the rehearsals today, I know that we've delivered those aims by the bucketful. The project started as a very simple idea and has developed into one of the largest community projects taking part in the BT River of Music Festival, which takes place on July the 21st and 22nd in London, which is part of the lead up to the Olympics themselves. And we are taking a group of 50 singers from Poole to perform in Greenwich as part of that festival, which is fantastic for us. But we divided this project into 4 regions so that people across Dorset and Devon could all be able to access one of the projects. And tonight is the first time that all of those 4 groups are coming together to sing together. We've all heard our own pieces, but we haven't heard each other's, so it's a very exciting moment. And it's the first time we've had a very large audience for all of this work. I do need to say some thank yous because there's been an extraordinary amount of people that have made today happen. The initial idea of Coastal Voices came from the Jurassic Coast Heritage team, and they've supported this project from the beginning all the way through its journey, and with particularly inspiring leadership from Daisy Sutcliffe. Our second partner, Sirius, are world music producers, and they've worked tirelessly with us to produce this project. They have found funding, it's taken a lot of money, and we're grateful for that from LOCOG and from the Paul Hamlin Foundation. And they are also producing the performance in London of the Nick Cave works, which you will see towards the end of this concert. But most of all, they've really encouraged us to become world class. And I want to thank Nadine Wood and Katrina Duncan in particular. I know they're here from London today. Soundstorm are the music education agency for Poole and Bournemouth, and thanks Dan for the support both in funding and in your friendship and help in getting this project underway. Helen Coombs and Lindsay are fabulous workshop leaders and rehearsal pianists and singers who've given us all the extra skills that we've needed when we've been floundering around a little bit, struggling with it. And most of all, to our project manager, Kate Burrows, who's just been incredible. There's 1,000 singers in this project, and she's kept you all together, I hope. We'll see you tonight. And thank you, Kate. And then the musicians. So our music director is Howard Moody, and you will see him in a moment. And he has overseen the rehearsals for all of the groups that you're going to see tonight, and has turned a rather bemused group of individuals into world-class choirs. And the first piece tonight that you're going to hear was written by John K. Miles with help from Billy Bragg and the young people of B Sharp, developed in Lyme Regis. And today I'm very impressed because they've overcome floods, road closures, herds of cows loose on the road to be here. And that they're here at all is down to one particular woman who has had incredible energy, dedication and vision, and her name is Fran Williams. And today, she told her coach driver to ignore the signs of road closures and to keep those coaches coming through. And that is why they're here today. So I will do a little introduction for each of the pieces. It will be much shorter than that. And so tonight, let's get on with the first ever performance of the most extraordinarily beautiful and powerful work, written by B. Sharp and the young people of Lyme Regis, conducted by the composer. I give you John K. Miles, and the singers of East Devon, Lyme Regis and B Sharp who present on Golden Cap. And it's been written by Somerset-based composer Marc Yeats, who will also conduct. And the piece explores the geology of the Jurassic Coast, and the work attempts to depict landmass movement and geological process. The piece utilises the voice rather than singing ability, and that doesn't mean that they haven't got the singing ability, by the way. But it's constructed in such a way to enable maximum participation from individuals with little or no experience of either singing or reading conventional notation. And for those of you that are interested, the score is fantastic just to look at. So ask any of these singers afterwards to have a look at it, because it's amazing. It is highly contemporary, very experimental, and the last time we saw this, which was the premiere, was in Beer Quarry Caves, and the singers were all wearing hard hats. So it will be a different experience, singers, today, but just as exciting. Today, your singers for this piece are from Exeter and East Devon. They also have come via the flooded plains of Dorset to be here today, and we thank them for that. Today's piece is entitled Stuart Strong, and I give you Marc Yeats.
To the King, our sovereign Lord, humbly show it unto your highnesses, your true and faithful subjects, and daily orators, the mayor and burgesses of your town of King's Lyme, in your county of Dorset, set and lying there in an angle hard upon the coast of the main sea, and in the bottom of two great and mighty hills, the which is occupied by the trade of merchandise there, by your said subjects and others. They, this time, at their inestimable charges, have purchased out of the main sea a defence and succour for ships made with great timber fight, and piled very deep in the ground, and filled with great rocks and stones between the said timber to keep off the great and mighty strokes of the sea. Now, of late days, by reason of the great storms and outrageous tempests of the sea, the said defence and fortress, as well as the banks and walls of the main coast, whereupon your said town is situated, is now in such wise undermined, broken, consumed, and wasted, that more than 1,000 pounds or two will not sufficiently repair the ruin that there hath been within a few days. And daily more and more consumeth and undermineth the banks of the town at this time above 500 foot of ground, where the town standeth, so that divers dwelling houses be overthrown, consumed, and utterly lost, and many more like to be in short time, unless speedy remedy be had. well and sufficiently done, will require no less than 2,000 oaks and 3,000 or 4,000 loads of red blocks and stones, besides ownership and labour, which to do and maintain your said subjects of themselves be not able, for as much as in far overpasses their powers. So that within short time, from lack of help in this case, your said town and the parish church there are like to be destroyed and lost. And over that, most dread sovereign lord, it is notoriously known that the said fortress and little Christian hath been, and is in the time of tempests and storms, the chief, and in manner, the only refuge and succour for all ships and vessels that chance to be bayed in with outerly winds between the port of Exmouth and Bournemouth, which is in distance 40 miles, and above, for the safeguard of the lives as well as many of your subjects,